Hello, guys. How are you? So, this is our last live on this marathon, and it's a little bittersweet. I can tell you right now. And for those of you that don't know who I am Helen Matos. I am a volunteer at APEX, Association of the International Existential Program, and we dedicate ourselves to studying the purpose of life, the existential program. And we have been having these lives for a while now because we are going to have the English course on the 25th of July, this Sunday. So you are invited. And please keep in mind that we are here not trying to convince anyone. We are not trying to impose our thoughts. We ask you that you have your own judgment, that you have your own experiences on the matter, okay? All right, let's go ahead and have our guests here. First of all, Analu Galotti.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi.
I have to say that we are not able to see your image. I don't know what happened, but it's just a dark screen.
Oh,
Okay, now that's great.
okay. Can you see me now?
So, yes, now I can.
Okay,
I know we
good.
are live now, but maybe you should start again, so just we.
Okay, so if you guys didn't hear me, I will repeat what I just said. And if you saw me and heard me, so just keep in mind that I'm saying it all over again, okay? So I am Helen Matos. I am a volunteer at APEX, the Association of the International Existential Program. We are all volunteers here. And we ask you guys that you keep in mind that we are here not to impose our thoughts. We are not here to convince you of anything. Keep your own experiences in mind, okay? We are actually here bringing to you the topics that we have been studying, so they are probably based on our own experience as well. All right. So Analu, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm so glad. And at the same time, I'm so sad because it is our last live today. But it was a great marathon. I'm so happy.
Yes, it's our last live on this topic, but we are going to have lots of more lives here. So
Yeah, so
just be ready, guys. Don't go anywhere. All right, let's go ahead and have Larissa Imperico.
I think we have some delay today.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Larissa.
Hi.
Hi. Good to literally see you, Helen, now.
I know, right? Maybe it's too much light. I don't know. Oh, how are you, honey?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm the same feeling as Analu.
Yeah, I know, I know. And let's go ahead and call Marcelo Pires.
Yep, that's me again. Hello.
Hi.
Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
Marcelo. How are you, hon?
I'm doing great.
Good. It's good to have you guys here. Okay, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and learn a lot more about this topic. And I would like to go ahead and start with a question of my own. Okay, today we are going to speak about the existential balance. So, can you guys explain to us what it is, what the existential balance is?
I think before, Helen, just for everyone that is watching, I'm just gonna go retrospectively on
Yeah.
everything that we had in the last month. So our first live, this is for who didn't see, so we still have the opportunity to go on YouTube channel and then to watch again. You can make questions today as well by Facebook, by YouTube. So our first live was about the purpose of life itself, or the existential program. And then we spoke about the parapsychism and the purpose of life. And then after that, on the third one, we spoke about birth, death, and the purpose of life. On the fifth one, the fourth one, we spoke about pandemic and the purpose of life. This was a good one as well. Then last time we spoke about existential emptiness on our fifth live. All of these lives, they are available online. So they are recorded, they are available if anyone would like to watch. And then today we're going to speak about the existential balance, which is a technique. If Analu can tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, I can. So we have seen in our previous lives that our existential program is a technical plan that we made before we are reborn in this human dimension. Okay, so to make a plan is not guarantee of success. So, there's no guarantee that of a correspondence between the theory, the achieving goals that we have, and what we are expecting to achieve. So we need to follow up on that plan. And it's important to monitor, to make this follow up, the activities, to check the results that we have to see if they are in conformity between what was obtained and what was expected. And for this, we have the existential balance technique, which is an evaluation that we are going to make, about pretty much everything in our life, what we did right, the errors we have made, everything. So this is the technique, the existential balance. And Marcelo is going to talk a little bit more on how we are going to do this existential balance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How do we do it? You guys said that it's a technique. So what kind of technique is that?
Well, Ellen, what we do in the existential balance, first thing, we need to slice and dice our life. Okay, so if you try to evaluate like Marcelo's life, sometimes it's hard to understand and hard to cover the topics. And doing this, where did I got correctly? What did I miss? Okay, so first thing that we do is starting looking to review ourselves, what our qualities, the strong traits, what are our deficiencies, our weak traits, what are traits that you need to develop, okay? And start to understand our history, okay? We look to our self-biography, okay? And on doing that, you kind of place yourself in your time and space, and then you get better conditions to do the evaluation. But, well, this evaluation gets better if you start to define the different sectors of your life. So you're going to see the professional life, you're going to see your relationships, you're going to see the parapsychic life that you have. You're going to slice and dice it in at least 8 different sectors, that in each one of these, you're going to look, okay, looking for my needs, what I need to develop, okay, what did I do right, what I did miss it. And then just like you have your balance on your checking account, okay, it's the same thing that you do in these different sectors. You start to evaluate them, looking for the pros and cons, and then from there you're going to start identify points that you need to develop, that you need to have an action plan to catch up with the aspects of your life that you're missing. And you can do it overall, all the sectors, or you can go and put in focus like in one or two sectors and make a priority. Okay, like in this moment of my life this year now, I'm going to look more on the group karmic or the relationships that I have with the people. In other one, I'm going to look more in myself, what as ego karmic I needed, or could be professional. And then the way that you make this classification, it have some flexibility, but needs to have a sense for you, and then it needs to be actionable. That you need to get after the evaluation. Better than doing the evaluation, it's what? What's my plan for improvement? Okay, so during this technique, you go through these various steps. Okay, and if I'm not sure if you mentioned before, but we have a course that happens every carnival in Brazil, carnival time, that we cover this, also having presentations from people that had done it before, stud case, okay, workshop, about some of exercise and so on.
That's very interesting. While you were talking, I thought of like it's a very interesting way for us to reorganize what we actually learned in our intermissive course and try to remember, right? If you divide it in sections, it's a little bit easier for us to in the interphysical dimension to actually remember what we studied about our program, existential program. Guys, we have some good evenings here. We have Kathy Helmane. She says, good evening. Cris Lopes says, hi all, good to see you guys. Today I'm happy to participate a little of this live. Yeah, because it's very late there, right, in Europe. So sometimes Chris cannot be with us. She has a question. I think, let me see. Yes, she has a question. So it's a topic very important to me. And I'd like to ask you, how could the accomplishment of an existential balance facilitate the identification of my existential program? You guys want me to repeat?
Yes, if you can repeat, please.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a topic very important to me, and I'd like to ask you, how can the accomplishment of an existential balance facilitate the identification of my existential program? So how can the existential balance actually help us to identify our existential program?
Well, I think the existential balance is more for us to evaluate our existential program. Of course, sometimes we don't know it for sure, like in a sentence, what is my existential program? But, well, you could have some insights about your existential program. For instance, one of the activities that we do is to make an inventory about the incomings, the contributions we had in our lives. Okay, so in Portuguese, the name is aporte existencial. Okay, so in English we don't have a name yet, but we could say as income or contribution or input, depends on who's speaking. But what you get from life, that you didn't have to make an effort to achieve that, it pretty much has a lot to say. Because let's say that I have someone make a contribution to me with a course, like I myself, I had the opportunity to take the existential balance for free. It was a gift from someone, so it was an input for me. And it pretty much gave me an idea of what should I do to contribute with people, to make the retribution of it. Because if I get something, I know that somehow I'm gonna have to give it back in a very assistance way. So maybe when you do this inventory, Chris, about the things that you got from life and the gifts and so on, things that have changed your life, and you have a good idea of what you should do. Maybe there is another technique that we do is to analyze our roles. So today, I'm a daughter. I'm also, a wife, and I'm a student. I have my role as a professional. So, what is expected from me in each one of those roles that I have? Okay. So, when you have this idea of what you should do, and if you are doing it right, you also have an idea of adjustments that you have to make. But I don't know, I, to the identification of existential program, I think it would better if we do use another techniques that we have. Okay, so maybe you should attend to the course Proexis Cycle, where we are going to study about this a lot, you know, and the existential balance to make this evaluation, because then you have more understanding about what you should be doing, and compare what is the ideal thing, the ideal goals, and what you get until now, and to make the adjustments.
And
So
and
the
this,
oh, no, sorry.
yeah, and then just to complement a little bit what Analu is saying is, uh, this Sunday now we are going to have the program course. Okay, this is an introductory course. So these concepts about existential balance and the identification, the techniques of the identification for the existential program, we are going to cover it. Okay, so it's really a good introduction, so you have a better understanding about what you're talking about, and then you may complete and go deeper during the Brex cycle.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that the existential balance and the existential program, they are two separate things, but they are linked in a way. So when you do your existential balance, you see which areas of your life you want to change, you need to put more effort on it, or other areas that you need to improve. And in my opinion, at least, this is totally linked to your existential program. So it's probably the areas where you should be doing something for your praxis and it's not happening. So I think they are linked, but it's worth it to have a look like two separate things, because when you study your praxis, like the tips Analu gave are very good. You can also try and analyze what you like, what motivates you, what you do easily, so what you're good at. So these are good indicators, but it's a different study, and it's important to say there are two separate things.
So, if I understand correctly, the existential balance is a technique to evaluate all the areas in your life that are important for the achievement of your existential program. So, for instance, if I have an area like the financial area that I'm not taking care of, that is going to affect in a negative way the identification or the execution of my existential program. So this technique will actually help me plan better so I will be able to execute my existential program. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of. About the evaluation technique, yes, but the identification, I wouldn't say that existential balance is to identificate,
Okay.
because you are going to be able to understand what are the adjustments you have to make.
Oh, okay.
But you will only be able to do this if you already have this idea of what your praxis is. So you're going to have some idea of what should I do. Okay, because if you don't know where are you going, how are you going to be able to evaluate if you are doing it on the right way or not? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So this is why we are saying that this technique is so important to evaluate your practice, because if you understand that, oh, I know that my practice is related to that group, that I have to do something, like this, I have to make amends on my family and so on, and then you see in this inventory that you're not doing that, then you can make an adjustment. Oh, like a GPS, when you get the wrong way, and he says, oh, adjusting the route, and this is pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Amalu. Okay, Eliane Galotti says hello. Laenio Loshi, hi Loshi. He says, hi. How do you assess the difference you've made in someone's life considering the multidimensional paradigm?
I
And
think the first thing is to observe how the person is feeling in general and how are the energies of the person. So let's say, for instance, the example Analu gave. So I paid the course to someone to do the existential balance, and I want to see if I've made a good difference in this person's life. After a couple of months, I go and see the person. Is the person different? Is the person happier? Is the person with different energetic field? I think these are good indicators. Sometimes the person can even maybe start volunteering on this example, or is doing other courses from this one. The person decided to do more courses or to start self-research. I think these are the first steps as good indicators as you made a good difference.
Then another indicator would be the tosanity of the person, okay, or we call it tosanis. That's the set, the thoughts, sentiments, or emotions, and energies. Okay, so with the energies that Larissa is mentioning, we also have the thoughts and sentiments of that person too. So what kind of emotions do you feel when you are in contact with that person? Okay, what emotions he's exteriorizing, and what kind of thoughts, what pattern of thoughts the person is keeping. Okay, so if you observe that the person is moving from more sick, ill thoughts to more healthy ones, you see that the person is, for example, less depressed or less anxious, and so the person is getting better on these other dimensions too. It's a good sign that you are making a good intervention, okay, that you are making a good interaction, let's say. And so always it's energy with thoughts and with sentiments, the two things that we have in conscientiology.
I think there is a question that's interesting, and I also heard it from Lainio from the first time, which is, people's lives get better when you are around or not. So I think this is a good reflection, because this difference that I'm gonna make in everyone's lives around me, they start with simple actions. So, what are the impacts that my actions have, in the life of these people at work, at family? So, do I have the power to make it better by making assistance? People get better when I'm around. I think this is the key question, and it has a lot to do with, the group karma needs that we have to accomplish.
if you guys allow me, I'd like to add something to that. We talked about it in different lives, previous lives. So, about the clarification task, the opposite of the, not the opposite, but along with the consolation task, the clarification task is also, I think Marcelo said that instead of giving the fish to the person, you are actually teaching that person how to fish. So, when I watch lives like this, or I go to a class, or I go to a lecture, and things start to make sense in my mind. That's when it makes a huge difference to me, and I am able to actually go beyond that point, like what this course actually offers. Right, we are going to that class, we are going to make sense of a lot of things that we remember a little bit or even don't remember a lot about our intermissive course. But then we get that information and we are able to actually organize that information and go ahead and plan and go beyond what we are doing right now. Is that correct? Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I think the clarification task is a lot more difficult for the person that gives it and the person that receives it. So if you see Chris Lopez' example, she sent a question about her own existential program, and she's the only one that can find out. So we can help with clues, with techniques, but she is the one that will have to find out. So if you go to other mystical places or religion, usually they give you a ready response for everything that's going to happen and happened in the past. And here is not like that. So it's a lot more difficult, but at the same time, you have more freedom. So you have more autonomy on your actions, of your evolution itself, of your self research. At least this is my opinion.
Yeah, I think when we have the opportunity to attend to a lecture or a course like this, it's life changing because yeah, there's a concept that we said, you know, destiny assistance. Because sometimes when you take a course like Existential Balance or Existential Program course as we are giving next Sunday, and it makes us to reflect on our lives. And normally we make some changes after that because we end up realizing things that we have to change, things that can go on, and making a new and evolutionary choices. So I think this is the power of clarity task, because once we get the knowledge, we have the responsibility to change.
And other points to make a remark is the fact that some of these informations in the past would have sense to be hidden in secret societies. There is no sense to have these informations hidden right now in the current scenario that we have in humanity. Okay? So it's an opportunity to start providing this multidimensional paradigm to more people, to make them more available. Okay, so people goes beyond only the intraphysical evaluation about what's happening and starts to widening the view that we have about the life or multidimensional life.
So Chris Lopez says that she understands the explanation. She thanks you guys a lot. I guess you helped.
I
I
hope
was
so.
I was going to ask if we could actually give people some examples of what we've experienced in the Existential Balance course.
Well, I think that I can go first. I did my first balance this last carnival. Okay, so for me, it was an event that I went through the different steps that we had on technique. I have the opportunity to watch 5 different study cases that we have in this last edition. So it was energizing to see how people move the needle and make changes in their lives, and several different situations with really personal examples, and people really opened about talking about what they went through. So, and then on doing that and looking at my different areas of life, I start to get 2 particular areas that I wanted to make it better, because when you do your evaluation, start to see if it's excellent, if it's satisfactory, if it's in bad shape. So I got like two of them that were in bad shape, and say, okay, I need to work more about that. Like I need to get my parapsychons a little bit in a better shape, okay, in a better level compared to what we have there. And then it started working on the action plan about what we're going to be doing, and then planning the follow-ups. Okay, how frequent I'm going to do this during the year. So for me, it has been a journey so far, and next carnival, I'm going to stop again, look at about what I achieved in this first year, see what I need to fix, okay, or what I need to go to the next level. And well, next year I'm going to be there again for the existential balance.
Yeah, like Marcelo, it was my first time as well. And I think I wanted to do this course for a long time, but because I didn't live in Brazil and they were in person only, so I couldn't attend before. And I was so happy that this year was online, so I could finally attend. And it was amazing to see the cases and to have like this broadened view of your own life, because I don't think we have many opportunities in our day-to-day lives in the intraphysical society to do that, like to have this perspective of who we are, where are we going, and everything. And I think one of the best things, the things I like the most in the course, is to set up realistic goals. Because sometimes, let's say for instance, I wanted to write an article, and then you keep thinking, okay, I want to write an article, but you don't set up realistic deadlines for yourself until when you want to do that, and when would you like to have this done. So are you going to do this daily? Are you going to do this once per week, twice per week? So this is one of the things I really liked about the existential balance, because I had the opportunity to set up some goals. I managed to accomplish most of them, so I'm very happy. And I look forward to do again in the following years.
Well, my first existential balance was in 2017. I was into a big existential crisis, because my brother had just passed away, and it broke me up. So this course, as I said before, I took it for free. It was a gift from a friend, and it was amazing because once I started to review my whole life, since I was born, and I started to make this inventory about the things that I have done, things that I liked and I wasn't doing it anymore, about my job, things that I could be improving myself. And so at the end of the course, which is a 3-day course, I decided that I would, finish the relationship I was. And then I decided also that I would start in studying psychology. And, it's been 5 years from now, and I'm finishing psychology now. And I look forward to do the next existential balance, because I want to make an existential balance from this period, okay? And then I have another goals, like I want to start Penta and other things like this. So existential balance is a life-changing technique.
Yeah, I did mine this year too, the first time. And I can tell you guys that even being online, I could feel my husband and we felt the energetic field, we felt the extra physical helpers. We made some changes in our lives that are making a huge difference right now. And for task, someone that is resuming our existential task, it is very important because we sometimes it is a little bit harder to come back to some aspects the multidimensional aspects of our existential program, and that course to me made a huge difference. We have Pietra. She is asking, how do I know if I am in the right path? If I am in the way to achieve my existential program.
I think a good indicator is how you feel. I think this is the first step. So if you feel motivated, if you feel happy, if you feel like you have a lot of energy to do things, and if you're feeling the opposite, probably you're in the wrong path, or you're not putting your efforts on your existential program itself. So I think this is the first sign that we can observe.
Well, we also know that we have at least three different needs. You know, the karmic, the group karmic, and the polykarmic needs. So once we start to understanding about our practices, we start having this idea of, when it comes to the ego, what should I do? What should I try? And what should I change? The traits that I have to improve or minimize. So once you start to compare what is the ideal of the things that you have to do, and what is the real thing that you have, the results that you have, I think it's a good way to start measuring if how are you doing with your practice. Because if one of the goals that you have is to become less aggressive, and you see that you're not doing that, so you are far from the objective itself. So maybe you should correct it, adjust, make some adjustment, and new goals to achieve this result. And the same thing happens with the other areas, the good karma. So how are your relationships? Are you good with your family or not? Are you creating interprison or not? So what are you doing? All of those actions are good parameters to measure if you are doing it right or not. And the same thing goes to polykarmic. Am I trying to help? Am I trying to write verbatim or articles? Am I doing the clarity task and Penta? So you have to see what are your goals, and see what is the ideal and what is the real that you have, and make a balance, of course. So if you see that your balance is low, and how are you going to do to get it right?
Very interesting because the next question from Lashi, I think you talked a little bit about it, but what he asked is, what parameters should we use to evaluate our lives?
Yeah, I think it pretty much is the same thing that I was saying before,
Yeah.
to try to understand what are your goals, what was your plan, okay? And to see if you are doing this, and to comprehend, to understand what is the ideal, considering the consciential paradigm, because we have to remember that there are cosmoethics involved and so on. And pretty much to understand all those differences, and also analyze your roles, the role you have, in your life in different areas, and see what is the ideal of those and how are you doing, and then make these changes.
Raquel Cardoso is here too. Hi, Raquel. She says, hello, people. I realized that my personal existential balance is in the month of July. My question is, does it also happen with you in a specific month? Thank you.
That's a new one for me, to be honest.
No, I would say the following. Well, first time that I learned and worked with the technique in a strict way, it was during the course in February. So it was great. But traditionally, I I do an evaluation about my life and what I need to change during my birthdays. Okay, so on that month of my birthday, typically I stop a little bit, and then I start to put like some targets of what I want to work. But I didn't cover well the evaluations about what was uh, achieved and what was missing. What was the balance on the different aspects going into the level of detail that we have into this technique. Okay, but yeah, you can do it in February with us during the course, or you can do it yourself. Okay, once a year, twice a year, you set the frequency. The important thing is that not only do the balance, but also the planning and the follow up of this planning about what you're going to do in the next 3, 6 months, 1 year, for example.
I was just thinking that in Brazil it's quite common that people think about uh, during Christmas or next to the end of the year, I think, in Brazil.
The
But
end of the
usually
year.
they don't plan. Usually they just realize, oh my God, I haven't done nothing this year. And then another year goes by, and then they continue with the same mistakes, I think, intraphysical society in general. I was just remembering that. But I think it's very good, like Marcelo was saying, to have a balance from time to time, and then to plan realistic goals that you can achieve. And this is going to be different for all of us. And that's why it's good to know your own characteristics or your own traits. Then you can balance this and then can see what is achievable for you on your life.
I think that the key point is don't be shallow when you do this evaluation. Okay, dedicate a good amount of time to do it. You're not going to do the balance of your life, even if you go through one sector, saying, I'm going to do it like a half an hour. Okay. Reserve like full day, 2 days to do that. Okay. Like a nice weekend, for example, just for yourself, your thoughts and memories and plans.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's usually the second week of the second half of November. That's when I evaluate everything. And then in December, I'm already planning for the following year and make adjustments, make changes. This year was a little different because I had already made my planning for this year, but then a lot of things changed. I realized that I was doing a lot of things wrong. It wasn't actually very practical, and a lot of things I wasn't even putting to. I wasn't even going to realize them this year. So, like for instance, in the Existential Balance course, I saw the huge importance of taking care of my body. You know, I am the type of person that I am usually focusing more in my intellectual body, my mental soma. And without the health, the physical health, I can't actually, and especially I'm 52 now. So especially in the few next years, I mean, if I don't take care of it now, I'm not going to be healthy enough to actually realize most of my plans. So I joined the gym. Me and my husband, we go to the gym together. I actually have a personal trainer, and this is something that it wasn't my plan. It wasn't. And I decided to do that in the course. So it's making a huge difference.
Yeah, that's good. It reminds me of my mom because she took the existential balance in 2018, uh, and she used to take pills for blood pressure, and she decided that she wanted to live more. So she joined the gym, and I don't know, like 6 months later, she wasn't taking any more pills for blood pressure.
Awesome.
She's very good now.
That's
It's awesome.
great.
And my existential balance is always on February when I take the course.
Yeah, I think I may have to adjust that and do it every February because it's I feel like I did this one, but I feel like it was just the tiny tipping point of what I can actually accomplish, you know. So I'm going to be doing it more. So, guys, I have a I was going to summarize what we've learned all these lives throughout the lives and correct me, okay, if I say something wrong here. Don't shoot the
Okay.
message. All right, so first we have to realize that we actually have plans that we made before we were born. So we have to accept that reality, and then we start to give more attention to our paranormal, parapsychic inspirations and intuitions, and pay more attention to maybe things that we are remembering from a time where we were not so restricted with this human brain. That with those two together, then we realize that we don't even have to be afraid of dying because we know nobody dies. So we have that cycle. We are born, we live our lives, and then we go back to a place where we came from before. And then this actually brings me to something that I think a lot, that my life here is actually a preparation for a better life when I go back to that place. Then after that, we we can actually realize that some things that we feel that may bring us to a depression or to an existential emptiness, they can be actually remedied. Not, I mean, I'm not trying to minimize the illness itself, the biological effects of depression, but sometimes if we are not in our correct path, something that we decided before we were born, it may take us to that place, to that sad place, or to the insatisfaction, personal insatisfaction with our own life. And then we can evaluate all that. And after doing that evaluation and deciding, really deciding that we are here to do something more that is related to assistance, to helping others, to helping the planet, then we can make plans. And that is what will help us to identify what we are here to do. This is my take from what we talked about here.
You are a very good learner.
This, did I miss something, or do you guys disagree with anything?
No, I
No,
think you're
I think it's
absolutely
perfect.
right.
Yeah, we just need to remember that, maintain your critical thinking, the principle of disbelief, because, we have all of us here, we have sure about what we are saying because we somehow had these experiences that confirms all of this to us. But if, someone listen to our lives and think for a time, oh, it doesn't make sense. So maintain the open mind and try to experience it for yourself because we don't want to convince anyone of anything. But I think it's worth to at least try and experiment.
And as you keep doing your own research and experimenting, okay, you are going to get a better view about what is your existential program. And as we discussed during these lives, it's that's why we had this marathon. We we wanted to provide different aspects for the people to listen, to reflect, We have different courses in Apex that we explore it. The next one will be the Existential Program this Sunday. You are all invited to join us. Okay, and just keep the principle of disbelief. Okay, don't believe anything that we say here. Have your own experiences.
Yeah, I would like to say thank you to everyone as well. It was amazing to be here. Time just flies, you know. It was great. So I think this existential program marathon has been great for us. So we can debate these subjects in English, and then we can try and make people think more about their own purpose of life. So yeah, I just have to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to the team, Analu, Marcelo, Ellen. Has been amazing.
Thank you, guys. It was great.
Well, as I said in the beginning, it is a little bittersweet, but it's just because I'm a little bit emotional about this. But I want to let you all know, those that are watching us right now or even later, we are going to keep this channel open, and we are actually planning on having more debates, more guests that we will invite here as we go on. So there are several other. It's a vast world of topics that we are actually going to uh, approach here. So this is not the end; it's just the beginning, right?
Yes, and today we are completists, because we reached 100% of our goals here with our lives.
It's true.
Yep. So the English language is having now the opportunity to actually have more contact and intimate contact with the existential program from now on. And this is awesome. This is a new thing.
Yeah.
I want to tell you guys that I appreciate this experience a lot. Cris Lopes is saying thank you very much for all the lives. This channel is an incredible opportunity to learn more, to know different ideas about the purpose of life. Congratulations on the existential choice, guys. She says thank you. Pietra is saying congratulations, everyone. Thanks for these lives. And I appreciate you guys too, because with all the questions and all the, I mean, everything that we did this month, it's such a pleasure. I'm really happy to be
Yeah.
here.
Me too.
All right, guys. So please don't miss the Existential Program course this Sunday. Starts at 9 a.m. And on that summary that I did, we are going to go more in depth on all that. And these are the teachers, Ana Lu Galotti, Marcelo Pires, and Larissa Imperico. They are going to actually be the uh, our ambassadors on all these topics on Sunday. All right, guys, y'all have a good night. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye
See you.
bye.
Bye.